It was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation,
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like
forward.
a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
I'm Sophia, Sophia Alo. I am an entrepreneur, a mom. I'm 33 and happy to be here.
I'm Amy, I'm 23, I'm an activist and a student.
Hi, I am Zinhle Hashe, everyone calls me Z. I am radio presenter, BDist, and all kinds of things. Happy to be here too.
Hello, I'm Monica and I'm completing my PhD degree in anthropology, so I'm here as a student and I'm also a mom.
I'm Sidi, entrepreneur, mom, voiceover artist. Happy to be here too.
I was in an interracial relationship with a German. And you know that I found out a lot of things. Well, first I thought it was real love, and I got into it because I thought, okay, I'm tired of the Xhosa man. He's not good for me. Let me try this European. What I see on TV, these men are good. They don't cheat, and even if they do it far away from you. So they're respectful like that. So I thought, what I'm gonna do is go out with this German guy, and he's got money, and I need to get out of this Eastern Cape, and I did that. But then, we moved to Cape Town. I found out a lot of things about, how black I am, for instance, here in the interracial relationship, and how really, I actually don't know even now after how I feel about that. I think a lot of things now. Because first it felt like love, then I felt like I was being, sort of paraded as this, ooh, look at this one. She's bald and she looks exotic and she's clever, show her off. But then as soon as I have this own opinion of mine in front of all your friends, then it's like, shut up. Don't show me up. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I've experienced, but for me now it just, I don't know.
Same as Z, I was in one for the longest time. Actually, I've dated across the race, sort of, but I eventually settled down with someone who was white South African, and I had a child. It was kind of an unexpected transition for me. I mean, it's just unthinkingly, without being critical about who I was with, I think it just became as I didn't question who I was dating at the time.
I've dated a West African, but he was brought up in the USA. Yeah. So he had that culture. He didn't have his African culture. Yeah. But it was difficult. Well, towards the end it was difficult because his parents found out about me. And for them it's like, there's no such thing as girlfriend. You're either married or you're single. Yeah. So
Dating a West African and American. Yeah.
It was wonderful for me. I enjoyed the relationship. I have no problems with interracial. It's just my race that had an issue with it. And black people had an issue with it. Yeah. But white people didn't have an issue with it. It was like we were praised by white people, but the minute a colored man sees me with him or a black woman sees me with him, then it's an issue. So
Biracial, interracial relationship. Yeah, I've been there.
How that go?
She got married.
And divorced.
Yeah, no, it was like
Yeah, that's the long and short of that one. But anyway, so let's just say we got very surprised by, because again, I come from a country, from a culture where in my generation you were raised to speak English, not speak your vernac, not be this way, not, white culture or the great white hope was very much, thirsted for, and some of us before our time of awakening were also thirsting for this greatness that came with access. So it was nice, but mine was not like my mother thought, somebody with money.
I definitely came in with a lot of naivety, but it's also like we didn't have money. It was all very random. We did it for the documents.
Yeah.
So because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to travel because, basically we ran out of money and I wanted to have the kids where I had the resources, the medical. So it's also a contingency of material life. So I wanted to go back to Italy and I wanted him to be able to come. So we quickly got married and we did something small, but actually we didn't tell anyone.
A white friend of mine, good friend, I came to Cape Town, I made this friend and he was we got close. And one time he said to me, when I was like random complaint about a normal relationship thing, and he said to me, but Z, don't you think that maybe you know, this dating a white person, maybe it's really not a good thing. I mean, you're black. Don't you think people who are planning a future together should come from the same place and have the same, you know, tradition and culture and whatnot? And actually that got me thinking, because we really were on different, like when it came to family, and like he had completely different ideas how to treat your family. You grow up, you move away, that's it. Tina, we want to go back and still, you know,
Yeah, go back.
I didn't understand that. So I thought maybe he might have been right. Maybe the way you're raised, you know, because black people and white people, we're not going to lie, let's be honest. We're raised completely different, you know, and then we expect, because we're a couple, this should now come together. It's going to merge smoothly because we're in love.
Yeah.
But you also have to factor in the fact that the black people who are not raised like traditional black people, not just people who've been adopted by white people, but for instance, I come from Kenya, and there is a sense that the more educated you are, I mean, CD can back this up, the more educated, the private schools you go to, if your parents work for international organizations, you sort of get like the
closer to that you are, the more access you're going to have in life, period. That's how it works.
So a lot of us are raised in this, not a lot, I wouldn't say a lot, I'll say there are people who are raised, people used to call us, what are they called? Diplomat babies. Like this, where your parents kind of work for these international organizations and you're kind of melded in this very white world where you go to schools where there's 5 of you, but you speak white. You act white. The first time you see a class photo at the age of 5 and you ask your mama, who's that person there? And you're the black person. And you're kind of like, I don't know, because everybody is white. You have no sense of, so you grow up in this world where you are, so when you meet the white guy and you meet their white family, you know how to behave in those circles. So this becomes normal.
He took how many, almost before I was comfortable with the family, you know? It took almost a year. We got married from my family was cool with it because, you know, woo, white boy, there, go, take cow, where's the cow? And then his side only found out on the wedding night.
Are you, what?
Yes, scandal. Okay, next.
Oh my God.
So, the end of the story.
Kill you?
It was cute. It was in Kenya. It was great. Kenyans love white people.
Yeah.
Let's be careful.
We do. Oh, you got something to say, really, y'all?
Yeah.
Kenyans love white people. So at the end of the day, it was cool. We were at home. It was nice. Got married. My mom was like, hey, he's progressive.
Yeah.
He's going to let you study.
No.
You don't have to clean the house.
No.
Which also became weird because when you have to clean the house for a white man, it's...
Yeah.
Am I the only one feeling that around here?
What's wrong with cleaning a white
No, like especially when like your role has been turned into, there's like subtext. So she marries young man, he come and everything, and she comes back home, and then she's gonna go back to school, and then she doesn't go back to school, and then she becomes like mama deluxe, like she's looking after the house, she's doing everything. It harkens to the mommy stereotype, the mammy stereotype of black women. Like you.
Because I can say the ex-girlfriend he was with before that never had to do any of that, and he still went back to her after the marriage. Never had to. So
I was, you know, when I was with him and I was cleaning the house and cooking. That's just what we do. Isn't that what we do? We cook and we clean the house. When I lived alone, I was still cooking and cleaning the house. If I was living with a black man, I'd still cook and clean the house. I like a clean house and I want to eat.
In terms of relationships, because when you're with someone, then you want to kind of feed him and you want to keep your house clean, you know. But it's a difference where it's an obligation and he thinks it's your place. Like that's different.
But isn't that like all men? Or like
yes, it is all men, but it's more painful. Not all men, but it's patriarchal. It's patriarchy. But I think that everything everything has levels in the hierarchy. Like there are levels to this stuff, and I think there is something in what CD is saying about feeling some kind of way about just being expected to be this, especially when your other partners who happen to not be black have not been expected to be that way.
They don't have to live up to that, but I do because my people are really good at that. Yeah. You understand? It's not the way that it was. And also with being Kenyan, that was my first South African experience, being with a South African white person into his family and all that. So it was very much a culture shock and a wake-up call.
And that white South African. what is wrong with you? You crazy? Oh, girl.
Yes, girl.
Ah, guys.
We didn't know better.
You are not serious.
And then I had a baby with her.
Let's say that on his side, the family wasn't really a family together in the sense that the father hasn't lived with them since he was 1 year old. So on both sides, there were problems on his father's side in terms of us together. And not really maybe on his mother's side, no, but for him to introduce me into that context, because obviously there are differences. It would have been stupid of us or very naive of us not to acknowledge those differences. So on his father's side, who hasn't really been part of his life, there's definitely no interest, refusal. But also, he also made me very conscious of the fact that then there are certain obligations, certain rules in that particular context, and it was questioned if I could fulfill those. So it wasn't really an easy ride, but yeah.
I question interracial relationships.
I'm the same. I think, when I went into it, I was very, I think the best word would be naive. I thought I'm going to fall in love. He's definitely treating me better than what I'm used to. And, I thought the color of the skin and the breeding and, whatever it is, I thought it would be.
Culture,
the culture thing.
Yes,
and I thought, but now I got into, I got older, now I know better, and I'm not, and I have also dated across but I found that now I question it. I think, I kind of think you have to have fundamentally the same, I don't know.
Ideas. Look, I don't judge it because there are parts. I don't specifically feel that people shouldn't date whoever they want to date. Like that's. I just feel that we don't ask ourselves a lot of questions around dating, especially Black women dating white men. I don't think we ask ourselves a lot of questions around it. After a lot of digging, I found that for me, a lot of having the white friends and having the white man was looking for proximity to whiteness. There is a certain way that life becomes easier when you have that access.
I was very shocked. I came with a very naive mindset. I did think he had a lot of access and things like that. I got shocked by how Black he actually was. They are so Black. White people are Black. Whoa, white people are Black. White people are
white people are so
white people are so Black in weird ways. Though they're traditional, like they have
serious
ways.
Black white
They
people,
expect you to do things a certain way. Have a lot of culture in the way that they handle their daily life. So it's like rituals with the dinner things, and you have to talk about certain things. The whole family meets all the time. Black people know what I'm talking about. If there's a problem in your house over there, we're traveling.
Sister,
we're bringing the ankle from the place and the. White people are
terrible.
Black. So at least they are around these parts.
My dream is happiness for everybody. Like it sounds cheesy, but that really is what it is.
My dream is for everyone to be honest, like this political correctness and politeness. To just stop already, and for people to be honest, then we can communicate better, honestly.
My dream is for myself to be able to cultivate seeds of joy and peace inside.
Well, my dream is basically to save as many animals as I can.
Well, my dream is for everyone to come, like I recently have been learning, to come in touch or to come into alignment with their true self, with what they really want, be really honest with themselves.
I am an entrepreneur, a mom. I'm 33 and happy to be here.
I'm Amy, I'm 23, I'm an activist and a student.
Hi, I am Zinhle Hashe, everyone calls me Z. I am radio presenter, BDist, and all kinds of things. Happy to be here too.
Hello, I'm Monica, and I'm completing my PhD degree in anthropology, so I'm here as a student, and I'm also a mom.
I'm Sidi, entrepreneur, mom, voiceover artist. Happy to be here too.
I was in one.
It was a Ghana.
Not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move
Be like a horse with blinkers. Honestly, say I was about to have sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
I'm Sophia Alo.
They do it far away from you, so they're respectful like that. So I thought, what I'm going to do is go out with this German guy, and he's got money, and I need to get out of this Eastern Cape, and I did that. But then, we moved to Cape Town. I found out a lot of things about, how black I am, for instance, here in the interracial relationship with a German. And, that I found out a lot of things. Well, first I thought it was real love, and I got into it because I thought, okay, I'm tired of the Xhosa man. He's not good for me. Let me try this European. What I see on TV, these men are good. They don't cheat, and even if they do,